Addison Smith for $19.99 says, Mr. H, why does Hollywood have such a monopoly on fear of changing US and movies released which are international or Asia release on streaming and direct to DVD? I'm guessing that's
Well,
what that is.
I mean, first of all, I mean, yeah, like anime and some things like that from the East have kind of made some influence with a lot of the younger crowd, but it still isn't as big here as most Western entertainment. Like if it's not a Pokemon or something like that, it's not
Yeah, that's true.
huge. And I mean, that's kind of where I come from sometimes with getting pissy about like that new Superman cartoon and such. It's like,
Oh, that
I
looks
want my
terrible.
Western entertainment to look like Western entertainment. What's wrong with that? And that's the thing. Western entertainment is just that. Hollywood created that. That's what they did. That's what they're known for. Um, you know, the anime and what Japan puts together over there, that's what they do. What Bollywood and all that stuff does over there, that's what they do. I mean, Hollywood needs to re-embrace what it used to do best. And it's not so much out of a fear of changing. It's just why would you change what you do? It would be like Burger King deciding, you know, we're just going to serve fish from now on. Yeah, but we're not going to change the name. You know, we're going to keep calling it Burger King. But
well, I think actually it's important to note that Hollywood doesn't actually have a monopoly, right? So Hollywood largely farms their work out elsewhere. They actually use, by and large, an awful lot of British film crews, and they film a lot in the UK. Pinewood Studios is famous for a reason. The British film crews are famous for a reason. They produce some of the best looking products out there. I literally just do a case study of films, you know, shot like even just from Lucasfilm, stuff shot solely on Lucasfilm in America versus the stuff which has been shot from Lucasfilm in the UK. The British film crews are incredibly talented, a league above a lot of the American-based film crews. So it's actually not that Hollywood has a monopoly. All it is that gives Hollywood a power, specifically as a locale, is that everyone is based there. So they go. Budapest is a new one. I say new, but it's been probably the last 10 years or so. But that's been ramping up more and more and more and more and more. That they're going to farm, you know, a lot of work out there, and it's because of tax breaks and the like, and obviously because they have good studio spaces and obviously locations, etc. But it's not that Hollywood has a monopoly per se. It's just that it's like it's the capital city of film. There you go. But they're the same jurisdiction or same country is dotted across the world. It's a bizarre an analogy, but it makes sense. Hollywood, you've got to view Hollywood as the capital city of film, but they have multiple cities all dotted around the world that is also part of Hollywood. So they don't have the monopoly. It's just where people are based, if that makes any sense, because I made that analogy up off the top of my head. Hopefully it made some sense. Culture, you look like you wanted to say something.
No, not really. Just to add that, you know, the reason that we don't have a divergent or a multifaceted version of Hollywood at this point is just because of the way things are locked down with distribution. I think Tom can probably speak better to that, but I just, you know, there's well, we're already seeing it. We're already seeing a fractalization. We're starting to see different avenues of distribution and more parallels in the industry. So we'll see. I think you're going to see more and more. I think you're going to see more and more of that happening with independent film. I mean, we've already seen the big success with a lot of smaller budgeted films. So it's just the distribution channels that need to be freed up, and we need to have an alternate distribution, which will keep theaters from failing. I mean, let's be fair about that. You know,
outside of your random Sound of Freedom, which is an anomaly.
Weird. Yeah.
That's kind of the hurdle that most indies have to get over, is that Hollywood is kind of plugged into the advertising machine, or whatever you want to call it, the marketing machine, to where, you know, not only do they have the money, but they also know who and where and how to advertise these things, usually to get the maximum, you know, saturation. as opposed to something else that's indie. I mean, unless you have a Sound of Freedom that actually gets attention on it,
Yeah.
it's not going to get to know. And nowadays, it's even tougher because sure, you can get a streaming deal or just throw your stuff up on YouTube, but it's not going to get the traction or the attention it normally would have if it was
No.
just like, 20, 30 years ago and you were shipping your movie around to different theaters, one city at a time, and then putting it on video. You actually had a better chance of a movie getting noticed then than now. It's sad but true, but the studios, they've built this wall or this gate around them, and they are not. I mean, the way they've reacted to Sound of Freedom, politics part of it aside, a big reason they're having the reaction is because it's the little movie that could, and they couldn't figure it out, right? Like,
Yeah.
movies doing what they used to do, and it's ticking them off, I'm sure, in some aspects. The other side of it, they're probably going, well, how do we do this? Because, I mean, don't be surprised if we see a dozen Sound of Freedom clones here come out in the next couple of years. But it'll be interesting to see how things go with this strike, because movies like Sound of Freedom have more of a chance to break through in the middle of a strike, because you guys are right. There is stuff that's still sitting on shelves.
Yeah.
If any good or not is the question.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Addison, mate. I think you got your $19 worth there, bud.
Yeah.